Today's video will deal with working in columns in a Word document. I have a document here with some text, and we're going to create a two-column document from it. The first thing I'd like to point out is this is the title, and I would like that centered across the top. So this particular paragraph I do not want in columns, but I would like the rest of the document in columns. So the one thing that I need to insert before I can set up the columns is a continuous section break, because if you want, let's say, a title across the top or some of your document that does not appear in columns, you need to have that in a different section. So I go to page layout, breaks, continuous, it inserts it right here. Now I'm ready to put the rest of this document in columns, and I click the columns drop down. There are several options. One is the default. 2, 3, left and right, meaning you have a narrow column on the left hand side or on the right hand side. The More Columns button opens up a window where you can specify specific widths for your columns, because the default is the same width. The other thing to note here is if you click this checkbox where it says line between, it will insert a vertical line in between your two columns or your three columns, whatever you have your document set up as. I'm going to set it up using this drop down, and I click 2, so it automatically in section 2, which is, you can see the section indicator down here, it automatically filled up the first left hand column, and then the article spills over into the second column. One other thing that I wanted to show you was how to insert a column break. A column break will break the column wherever your insertion point is and push the rest of the text onto the next column. So maybe I want this paragraph that begins with thanks to appear on column 2, because maybe I want to put a clip art in here or something. So I would go to page layout, and then I go to breaks, and I click column. And you can see from the little picture here that it will show that the red arrow, and it pushes the text to the next column. So I'm going to click that, and then I'll go down and show you. Here's the column break, and now that paragraph that begins with thanks is at the top of column 2. One other thing to note is if you're setting up a blank document into columns, you should know that it will fill up the column on the left before spilling over to the next column. And if you have the line between option checked, that line will not show up until you reach the second column. Some people get confused thinking that you're going to fill up, you're going to fill up this particular section here and then jump over here. But it actually fills up all of the column on the left and then jumps over to the next side. So that's about it for the column basics. Remember, it's all done on page layout. You're going to need a section break if your whole document isn't to be formatted in columns, and then the drop down will give you the main options, and if you want more specific options such as certain width for each column, you can do it right here. And then the line between option is right there, and I'll click that and show you what that looks like. Okay, so now you would have a nice room right here for clip art, and then actually the rest of that second article spills over onto page 2.